Roberta Gonzales-Greg will interview Lisa Putkey and Kilani Lewis of the new San Mateo Pride Center.
The new Republican task plan is underway.
Kim Lawson covered the first ever Mountain View LGBTQ community listening forum and brings us his coverage.
Good evening and welcome to Outlook Video, your nationally recognized award-winning news magazine for the LGBTQ community. I'm Roberta Gonzales-Greg.
And I'm Jay Raley. In tonight's show, Roberta will interview Program Director Lisa Putkey and Community Outreach Coordinator Kilani Lewis of the new San Mateo County Pride Center. Hey Roberta, I think I remember you going to that what was it, last June?
Last June, yes indeed. The Outlook crew covered their grand opening, and it was exciting to see the LGBTQ Community Center opening, especially for those of us in the Peninsula Bay Area. Yeah.
We need them all over the place.
We do. We need them everywhere.
Right on.
After weeks of politicking, lobbying, and vote trading, the new Republican tax plan was signed into law. With this means a higher or lower tax bill for you at the end of the year. What are the new tax changes and its effects? Christine Cockle will ask Rich Waterman of Waterman & Associates CPA later this half hour.
Kim Lawson covered the LGBTQ Community Listening Forum at the Senior Center in Mountain View. This was held by the County of Santa Clara to allow the LGBTQ members to help focus and shape the future of projects and initiatives in the Mountain View and the North County. We'll start off tonight's show with Roberta's interview with Kilani and Lisa from the San Mateo County Pride Center.
Just 7 months since its grand opening, the San Mateo County Pride Center is a busy, thriving community-based hub of programs and activities for the LGBTQ Peninsula population. With us tonight from the San Mateo Pride Center is Lisa Putkey, Program Director, and Kilani Lewis, Community Outreach Director, to tell us more about the LGBTQ Community Center. Lisa, Kilani, welcome to Outlook Video, and thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, this is great. I can't believe it's been 7 months because the community center is just a hub of activities. There are so many different programs going on. It's nice to to get your newsletter and find out all of these things that are happening. As the program director, tell us a little bit about some of those programs indeed.
Yeah, well, first, all the programs are based and rooted in what the community wanted. So, for example, ever since I was hired last year, I went about hiring an amazing LGBTQ staff and having these lived experiences and being able to connect with community. We've been holding several community forums and have heard a lot of need for social groups, for clinical services, for all sorts of activities to really bring people together and to educate around not just LGBTQ issues, but around the most marginalized in our community. So yes. Some of those activities we do are holding a monthly trans talks for yes. folks to learn about things like transitioning and vocal therapy or advocating for trans rights at their schools.
There are just so many different programs, and as an outreach director, how does that really what the word sounds? Do you reach out to the community?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So I get to go out to all the events, and I get to just make folks aware of the center, that it exists now, it's new, it's exciting, it's like you said, the peninsula is extremely underserved until now, and so I get to be the one again to kind of go and spread that word and get folks really excited and into the door.
So you get folks to come into the door, but you also get folks to partnership with you.
Correct?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about the partnership part of this equation.
Well, the center itself is a partnership of 4 community organizations: Star Vista, Pyramid Alternatives, Outlet of Adolescent Counseling Services, and Daly City Partnership. And they are long-standing community-based organizations that have deep roots already serving diverse populations throughout the county. And so they really saw a lack of LGBTQ affirming services, a lack of any space for the community to be and have a safer space to really be seen and valued and thrive. And so they came together and in partnership with the Pride Initiative and the Office of Diversity and Equity of the San Mateo County, we created the center and continue to not just partner amongst each other, but to partner with other organizations as well, and many of the
One of the things you told me before we came on camera was that you also have an outreach to the city schools. Mm-hmm. Who wants to tell me about that?
What? Because it's exciting for me because I grew up in San Mateo County, attending Cappuccino High School in San Bruno, and I just recently got to go back to my high school and teach all of the teachers and staff around gender diversity and creating more affirming schools, safer schools, not just for LGBTQ folks, but for all folks. Because when we lift up our LGBTQ folks, we lift everyone up.
Okay, that's true. That's true. When we lift one person up, we're lifting up all parts of the community, and it's really wonderful to see that happen in action there at the center. Now, you also have some things like a monthly trans talk, also a quarterly. I'm looking up my intergenerational dinners. Oh, please tell me about the intergenerational dinners.
Yeah. So we. You know, at the Pride Center, we're an all-ages facility, but it's rare for us to see all the different age groups together at the same place at the same time. And so back in October, we put together a dinner for National Coming Out Day. It was a taco dinner, and we like puns, so we named it Taco Bout Coming Out. And it was just such a great success, and folks were really excited, and we saw this amazing mixture of folks together. We thought people would kind of form little cliques amongst themselves and want to sit with their own age groups, but instead everyone really mixed together and built community across all the different age groups, which was fantastic.
That is fantastic, because we were saying earlier that too, when you get a family gathering, you've got people from little toddlers to elders, and you get together, you have food and conversation, and before you know it, you're really exchanging a lot of information with each other and socializing, and that is a good base for starting a community interaction. That's kudos to you for thinking about that and doing that and taking it a step further out into our community. Now, you have something coming up March 31st, right?
Yeah, International Transgender Day of Visibility. Okay. We're currently in the works planning a celebration in the fall, we witnessed Transgender Day of Remembrance, and we had a vigil and a memorial and marched down El Camino. But now it's time for visibility, and we want to celebrate all of our transcestors, all of the beautiful transgender folks in our community for what they're doing, and so that it's not just a sad story, but it's an uplifting one of hope.
I like that, uplifting and hopeful. You also mentioned earlier off camera something about integrity, and I liked that very much, that's something that you're interjecting in all of the programs. Please tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we think it's really important to not just talk about wanting justice for LGBTQ community, but to take actions to make that possible. And one of the base things that we need to do is really bring folks together to build community, to build power, and to create acknowledgement for the resources that we need. And so, sorry, I got just...
No, that's okay. No, so that brings integrity along the line is with what you're doing. You're not just giving people some lip service. You're also putting your money where your mouth is, more or less. And speaking of which, you have people who give private donations, as well as there are corporates who give donations to the facility?
Yeah, we're currently publicly funded by the Mental Health Service Act of California.
Wonderful.
And so within a few years, that funding is going to end. So we're constantly reaching out and trying to become sustainable on our own. And so far, we've had a lot of unsolicited donors come step forward, and everything from actual money to donating our furniture or beautiful pieces of art for the center. Or we had another group that came and donated 500 chest binders to our free store. And
I was going to say,
all
you
of
talked
our
about your free
LGBTQ
store.
library.
Yes, you said you have a free store, you have a library, so you have a lot of things available to the community.
Job
networks,
peer groups,
seniors. Okay,
older adult programs every Monday.
Okay, I resemble that remark. And so there's just something for everyone there, which is fantastic. Ladies, thank you very, very much for joining us tonight. We can't get enough of such kind of community centers and so much support. It's wonderful to see this happening in the Bay Area, and especially on the peninsula, my part of town, but also in the peninsula, so it's available for people who live on the south of San Francisco. Thank you again for joining us, for being in that program. We love it. And for those of you who want some more information, just take a look at the TV right now, and you'll see on the screen all the information that you need to know about the San Mateo County Pride Center, where you can go in the website and learn all about them. Ladies, thanks again for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, I'm Shelley Wright, and you're watching Outlook Video. If there's anything certain, it's death and taxes. With the implementation of the new Republican tax plan, many of you are finding changes in your federal withholding deductions on your paycheck. How have the tax laws changed, and what effect will they have on filing your taxes this year? With me tonight is the man with the numbers, Rich Waterman, with Waterman and Associates, CPA. Good evening, Rich, and thanks for coming to Outlook.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Good, good. This is a big change for all of us, and it must be a big change and challenge for all of the accounting folks out there. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly the biggest I've experienced in the years I've been doing taxes. So part of it is trying to understand it. It's take several months for the different organizations that teach us to understand it, and then we need to teach everyone else, and then there's going to be literally years before the details get defined by the various organizations. The IRS themselves has to spend many, many, many months trying to figure out what did Congress mean by a or the, or and then a lot of things will probably go through the courts and before they get settled as to what does this actually mean. So we're holding on with bated breath to try to get things defined.
That certainly sounds like a challenge.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about deductions. Speak a little bit to deductions. We want to optimize our deductions. What are the kinds of things that we should be looking for? And also speak a little bit about the standard deductions and how those have changed.
Yeah, so we usually want to make our income as low as possible within legal grounds, and we want to have the most deductions, again, staying in line with what the law says. Now, with the new tax code, there's been a lot of changes with deductions. Some of them we've heard already. They're limiting. That got a lot of news, which was the limiting of the so-called SALT deductions, which is state and local tax. So for most people, that's your property tax and your state tax deduction. People would deduct 30, 40, 50,000 a year normally. Now you're limited to no more than $10,000 with the new tax year. So this is the filing that people will do next year, April 15th, 2019, for the 2018 year. Mortgages is now limited. Instead of you being able to deduct $1 million, you can now only deduct $750,000. You used to be able to have a line of credit of $100,000. No more deducting lines of credit. They put limits. You used to be able to have something called miscellaneous or work-related deductions. Everyone loved that one. That's now been eliminated. So there's a whole host of things that are commonly deductions for non-businesses, for individuals, that have now been eliminated.
I understand that there's a limit duration for individuals. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, and that's one of them that's a little frustrating and very hard to plan for. In order to make the numbers work, most of the individual changes that are coming forth are going to expire, most of them around 2025, so that's not that many years. The big deduction is the corporate deduction, where they took the highest rate of 35% or higher that hits at around 100,000. It's not that much money, and they brought it all the way down to 21%. That does not expire. So
that does not expire.
That does not expire. Now, of course, anything can change with the tax law as time goes on. We'll have to see. There's a lot of optimism on one side of the house saying this is going to bring in a lot of money because people will have more money in the pocket, and some people on the other side are saying, well, wait a second, there's no way you're going to bring in that much, so we're going to have to wait and adjust accordingly.
All right, well, we will wait and see then.
Yeah.
Can you explain what does the doubling of the standard deduction do to my return?
So for a couple, for my husband and I, for example, we are able to deduct around $12,000 a year, a little more. That's getting doubled now. It's going to be $24,000. That's the standard deduction. That's going to actually help us because we've owned our house for a long time. A lot of people have not, but those of us who have, our mortgage interest is not very big. We're getting limited on the state tax, on the property tax. And so now I don't have that much left. I just get the $24,000. Makes life easier. I can just take those Goodwill receipts, which I've been collecting in my in my back for a long time, and just throw them out. They're not necessary because I took the standard deduction. So it certainly simplifies things, and to some extent, it will help.
Yes.
So those things are going to help. They are getting rid of things. There is we call a standard exemption that most people get. So you get around $4,000 a year for you, your spouse, each of your kids, your dependent. Now for a lot of people, that's a lot of money. That's going away. Other things like the child credit is increasing. So you're going to get more of a child credit and a dependent credit. Credit is money that actually goes in your pocket. So we sort of laughingly say, well, Congress' intention was to discourage you from buying a house, may be a good thing, but then encouraging you to have more kids.
Have more kids. I'll have to talk to my wife.
Yeah,
about
I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing, but they're kind of adjusting what they encourage and discourage indirectly.
I see. If there were just a one sentence to take all of us out here through tax season calmly in this view of this new Republican tax plan, what can you tell us in just a sentence or two?
Yeah, so for most people, and we've been watching it, so my tax software can actually tell you what things are going to look like next year if everything stays the same. There isn't a huge difference. The biggest differences are at the business side. Those who have small businesses like myself, those who have large corporations, they're going to see big changes and big complexity. For most individuals, they're going to tend to be smaller. So I would tell people, don't worry so much. We'll get through it. For some of you, there's going to be some positive. For some of you, there's going to be some negative.
Oh, Rich, thank you for those encouraging words. Rich Waterman, thank you for taking the time to come to Outlook, to our studio. And for more information, you can go to their website at campbelltaxes.com. You're watching Outlook Video.
We love to get mail from you. Email us at comments@outlookvideo.org.
To contact us by phone, call 408-293-3040, extension 205.
Visit our website at outlookvideo.org.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/outlookvideo.
And connect with us at facebook.com/outlookvideo.
So our Office of LGBTQ Affairs, is here to provide leadership. We've just completed 2 years of our work, but the work actually began and its foundations were in 2013 when the county launched its first ever health assessment. And we've learned so much about the community. We all know that there isn't a lot of data around the LGBTQ community because many agencies, federal, state, and local, do not collect information, do not ask information. This is the first time that we had information about residents in Santa Clara County. And what we've learned is that we're all experiencing as a resident in Santa Clara County, health disparities. We are not reaching out and getting resources that are available to us, even when we're eligible for them. So for our office, we really are focusing in these 4 main areas of work to raise visibility of the LGBTQ community and learn more about what those experiences are. We're improving access to services, and that might mean creating new resources, more services and programs. We are providing supportive and affirming environments so that when you walk in, there's a clear built-in environment cues that say you are welcome, you are accepted, and you're affirmed. And then lastly, really building a lasting change through policy that's going to live on beyond us and beyond the office and ensure that moving forward, those are still in place. We offer a variety of different services and supports, from training, and that could be training to organizations, groups, agencies. We provide some case navigation, so you could call our office and say, I am looking for a support group, or where could I find information on how to do a name change? Are there local services that I could be connected to? A lot of our communication and external relationships, we want to make sure that people know that we have this office and that this office is working to better the experience of the LGBTQ folks here.
We are fortunate in this county to have a 5-member board of supervisors, all of whom are supportive of the kind of progress I think we would like to see in LGBTQ affairs. When we have issues before us that are important to the community, there is not a 4-to-1 split or a 3-to-2 split. Almost inevitably, the work we do is done with unanimous support from our board. So whether it is the actual LGBTQ affairs office that, as you heard, is really unique in the country, or whether it is about the Getting to Zero campaign, or whether it is about establishing an LGBTQ friendly shelter for those in need, time after time after time, we have made the progress, as I say, with 5 folks. So I'm here to listen. It is a listening tour. I noticed that out of the corner of my eye, I've got Councilmember Chris Clark, who is here from your local city council as well, so would you please join me in welcoming Maribel, thanks to you for these 10 listening tours. Because I represent the north part of this county, northwest Santa Clara County, on the Board of Supervisors, I think this is the center of the universe. If you go to Gilroy or Morgan Hill, they think that's the center of the universe. And sometimes, if you go to 70 West Heading Street, which is where our office is, it can feel like San Jose is the center of the universe. So kudos, really, and thanks to the Office of LGBTQ Affairs for doing this listening tour to make sure that the entire county, including communities that may be at the north or closer to the southern border of our county, that the entire community is well served. Last thing I'll say is, this area can only be well served if we communicate what well served means. What does it look like? What do we need? This is the day to make sure that we communicate that message.
I think that Supervisor Simidian sells himself short because of what we do in the county with Maribel, and under the leadership of Supervisor Simidian, everything really has happened in making sure that we really address these important issues. So it's wonderful what you do for the county. So I'm really honored and privileged to be here. Unfortunately, I have something prepared. I see listening. I'm going to violate that a little bit. I think they told me 3 or 4 minutes, so I'll talk fast. And we assure you that all members of the Sheriff's Office are fully committed to the inclusion and equity of the LGBTQI community. We actually have a full-time deputy sheriff who is assigned to this right now, and it's become pretty much of her full-time job, Deputy Molly Madden. She is doing so much. We'll make sure that we continue to work throughout the entire Sheriff's Office to make sure that you're fully supported when the community comes into contact with our deputies, and also our role as a county employer. We're really, really happy to be working with Maribel and her staff and the Board of Supervisors and the LGBTQ Affairs Office. And when I first met Maribel, we were in a conference room, and I was asking her where'd you grow up and everything, and we figured out that she went to junior high school with my daughter, and they remembered each other from junior high school. So she's been a great resource and just really, really a great help to everything, making sure that we stay on track, that we understand everything, and that we do what's really, really right for the community we serve, and the inmates too, because that's something that's really been a challenge. We're moving forward with policies that we're implementing within the jail facilities, and we're also looking at a model that's out of Los Angeles County that is really a directive for all employees. That's something that we're working on, but the policy on the treatment of inmates actually has been signed. We've met with the unions, and we're going to begin training on that. The LGBTQI policy that we're implementing really is progressive, and we haven't found anything in the entire nation that addresses the issues that we do in our correctional facilities. We've been working hard on that, and I'm really, really grateful again for the input from the LGBTQ Affairs Office.
You can watch extended versions of our segments and archive past programs on the Outlook Video's YouTube channel at youtube.com/OutlookVideo. And be sure to click that subscribe button.
And friend us on Facebook at facebook.com/OutlookVideo. This program is made possible by the generous donations from our viewers like you and talented volunteers behind the camera whose names we'll see as we close.
We leave you with more scenes from the Mountain View LGBTQ Community Listening Forum. From all of us here at Outlook Video, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We get national data more frequently now, but we don't know is what's happening in Silicon Valley, in Santa Clara County, is it the same? Is it different? Is it better? Is it worse? And so we really need to set those benchmarks and check. Our county initiatives that we've already begun is getting to zero, and that's reducing stigma. Our goal is to get to 0 new HIV infections, 0 deaths from HIV, and zero stigma. The last piece is the piece that our office is working on. It's no easy task, and of course we can't do that alone. So it's a combination of community-based approaches and also addressing the barriers to healthcare access. Last year, around this time, right after the election, we had a special hearing to talk about hate crimes and hate climate. And we are now going back to the board to share about what we've learned so far and present some strategies that can better address how our community can feel safer. We also have launched 2 youth initiatives. One is the LGBTQ Wellness Initiative, and this is a universal approach in terms of how can we create a community that is supportive, inclusive of all youth, but in particular addressing the challenges that LGBTQ youth have. And we're doing this approach through the human development approach from ages 0 or prenatal to 25, and really embracing the whole community. The other is to go really deep and specialized, looking at a segment of our community, and that's youth that are involved in juvenile justice. And that's a partnership with Georgetown University Center for Juvenile Justice Reform. And really looking at what could we do to ensure that our youth are not in a pathway to getting justice involvement. There was a study in just last year that said 20% of the kids in juvenile hall are LGBTQ identified or gender non-conforming. And when you look at the number of kids who are in girls' detention centers, that number jumps up to 50% are LGBTQ identified or gender non-conforming. And we know that folks in juvenile justice have a higher likelihood of being incarcerated in an adult life.